Story 1. I was a small freshman who was placed into a senior study hall in high school. There was a large 6'7" senior who was generally good-natured and nice. He was well known but not necessarily popular. He was dressed like he was from the country and would wear big cowboy boots that would accentuate his heavy steps. I would not consider him a bully, but I would say that he enjoyed any attention he could muster. One day as our study hall monitor was out, this senior picked me up from behind with one arm across my upper shoulders. He swung me around with what I assumed was a big smile and laugh. The class thought it was hilarious. What they didn't know is that his arm had slipped to my neck. I could not get any support for my neck by trying to grab onto his arms. My hands just slipped. I was so embarrassed that I was trying not to create a scene by overtly struggling. I was trying to maintain my dignity while seeking to escape. All of a sudden, I noticed darkness started to creep in from around me, and it gained momentum until everything went black and absolutely silent. In later years, I have had several surgeries and am familiar with going unconscious through anesthesia. This experience was nothing like that. Though the lights went out, my consciousness was highly alert. I could no longer hear anyone or anything from in the classroom, but I knew that I could hear. I saw nothing but darkness, but did not feel blind. I knew that I could see the darkness. It was velvety, soft, and comforting. I was also aware that I was no longer a body with structural form. Instead, I felt like something like a puddle of liquid that had been poured out and was now millimeters thin. But my awareness was from a single point of observation, as though I was seeing and hearing in an all-encompassing way. After spending what seemed like 5 minutes in that space, I became aware of concern being expressed by something outside myself for my well-being. There was a hope and desperation in that feeling. I became aware of the senior in a panic trying to revive me. I came to and found myself on the floor. I pulled away and dragged myself up into my seat and desk. Along with my physical senses, the sense of embarrassment had returned as well. I quickly assured the senior that I was okay and tried my best to alleviate his concerns. This story was shared by NDE and happened in 1993.
Story 2. I'd been fighting seizures for 2 years. This day I was on the phone with a friend after having a hard day. I was anxious. I remember my friend asking me to speak up. The next thing I remember is feeling an immense pain in my left arm. I was on the ground instead of the couch and I couldn't move. My body started going cold as I asked myself, am I dying? I saw myself on the ground and could even see that the laptop cord was almost wrapped around my neck. Then I was soaring through what seemed to be clouds. I felt I was with or on an eagle who had been euthanized weeks ago at the veterinary clinic I worked at. I knew he was bringing me somewhere safe, although I never saw him. I felt that I was with him. The clouds opened up and I saw the most beautiful valley of green. I felt such happiness. I felt all those who I loved who were there. Again, I cannot see these people. I just knew and felt a sense of calm and comfort such as I have never experienced before. Then I saw darkness and a light. I saw things I had done in my life, and I also saw some things I was doing that I always have wanted to do but had not yet experienced. It felt as if I were spinning. Then my daughter came into view and I thought about the repercussions if I went to the light. I knew she would never forgive herself if she knew she had a part in my passing. I knew I had to get back to my body. I needed to go back by focusing on the pain in my arm. I knew if I could find the pain, I could get back to my body, and my daughter wouldn't have to live with the guilt and pain my passing would have caused her. On the other hand, I wish that I would have made the choice to go to the comfort, love, and warmth that I felt with the light and in that beautiful green valley. I haven't told many about this experience as I do not want to be looked at as a crazy person. I now have no fear of death, but fear of 4 others who will be left behind. My life has forever changed since that day. This story was shared by Rebecca M. and happened in 2020.
Story 5. I was working on the back porch of the house using a handheld grinder. Somehow it jammed, kicked back, and hit the back of my hand. Just to explain what happened next, I should tell you that any time I have a serious injury, my body tries to faint. I told my wife that I thought I better sit down. I fainted. The next thing I felt was that I was home. I didn't have eyesight, but I could see perfectly. It was like seeing with your mind. I felt perfect and I knew that I was where I was supposed to be. I understood everything, but I didn't remember anything about my life on Earth. I remember just enjoying the feeling. but then I felt something nagging at me to get my attention. I tried to ignore it, but it kept pulling at me. The best way that I can explain it is, it was like when you are trying to concentrate on something and a child is trying to get your attention. The feeling kept getting stronger and more annoying. When I realized that it was my wife calling my name and trying to wake me up, I came back into my body. I was very upset and mad that I was back. I didn't want to come back. My wife said that when I collapsed, she thought I was dead. She said that I wasn't breathing and had no pulse. She gave me CPR and revived me. After getting over being so mad and disappointed to have to come back, I immediately told her about my experience and how perfect it felt there. I also should tell you that when I was a young child, I would have a recurring dream almost every night. This was from the age of 1 to 4. In this dream, I would always feel that I could understand the reason and meaning of everything. It was like I would think, now I see, now I understand. But when I woke up, I could never remember the answer. It felt the same as the incident that I explained above. I have fainted several times before. I have been knocked out and have had several surgeries where I have been put under. Nothing like this happened before. I am not afraid of dying because I know that I will be going home. This story was shared by Jamie B. and happened in 2007.